Welcome to the Community Difference Rockwall. Powered by the Difference Media LLC. And sponsored by Delisa Lapinsky Realty Group. B1 Bank. Sunray Bookkeeping Services. The One Group with Town Square Mortgage. Barnaby Heating and Air. Minuteman Press of Rockwall. And by WeatherTech General Contracting.
The Community Difference Rockwall was created to serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals.
So sit back and relax as our host, co-host, and their guests share inspirational stories, experiences, thoughts, and insights about being a professional, along with the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in very special ways. Because the Community Difference Rockwall starts now.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Community Difference Rockwall. I'm Lendon Wilson, your host, and happy to be here today. And we've got a fantastic group of people and professionals that live and work in the Rockwall area, and we're going to talk to them in just a little bit. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about what this show is all about. So we believe that there are people within our communities that are the unsung heroes, and we want to bring attention and awareness to them. A lot of them are the small business owner that gives so much back to the community that a lot of people don't even realize how embedded and how passionate they are about the community. And so we want to make sure that you understand that the people that live next to you, that run the businesses, are more than just that tagline or that logo. They're people that really are doing some amazing things within our community. And so that's what we do, the Community Difference. We talk about the people, places, and things. Today is Rockwall. We have a show with Frisco. We have one with Denton. We have one with Plano, and we have one with Wiley. And we're continuing to expand. So that's a little bit about it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring on our two co-hosts. It's Ladies' Day.
Yes.
How are y'all doing?
Awesome.
Fantastic. How are you, Lendon?
I'm better than I probably should be, but yeah, Christmas is coming. I'm a guy. I wait to the last minute. Always do. Thank God for Amazon and Walmart delivery, because I don't have to fight the crowds.
Yeah, I'm an Amazon person too. I don't want to go out and do all the shopping. I'd rather just do it the comfort of my computer.
Yeah,
I agree with you, but I also want to support locals. So I've gotten some things off of Amazon, and I'm going to be out like a mad woman on Friday. So if you see me looking frazzled, you know I'm out Christmas shopping.
Oh gosh.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you, Delisa. I very much am an advocate, obviously, with doing these shows of our local businesses, and if I can find it locally, I'm going to get it locally. But anything that I can't, one of the things that I was told the other day, and it made so much sense. Do you know how many suppliers to Amazon are actually small businesses? Now, they're not our local businesses. They're local somewhere all across the United States, but they have more like mom and shop production type. Yeah. And so, when you think about that, we're still helping the folks just like us that have that business and that are just, they have a passion for producing something that people want and need.
Yeah. I like
you're absolutely right. Like I got this really cool digital light that was in the shape of a bass guitar for my nephew. Thank goodness he won't be watching this. But
don't say that.
He's a New Braunfels, so I don't think we're okay. And he's 19. So, but the cool thing was when I was looking at him, I could see different companies, and you could see that there were a lot of small individual businesses. They were in different parts of the United States, but you were still supporting small businesses.
Yeah. That's another reason why I like Etsy, because you can support those small businesses through Etsy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Yep.
Good one. Well, here's what I want to do. I want to give each one of you a chance to share with our viewers who you are and what you do. And then I'm going to let you introduce your guests. We're going to bring them on. Once they talk a little bit about themselves, we're going to do our infamous or famous or whatever you want to call it, the What's Up Rockwall.
What's up, Rockwall?
Segment. I have to do that every time. I feel like a kid sometimes in a toy store. So we'll start with you first, Rynae.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Rynae Calder, and I own Sunray Bookkeeping Services. I live in Saxe, but do work all over the Metroplex and in Rockwall and Wiley area. So we basically, we're working with tons of different small business owners, anywhere from those who are just beginning to, $1 million ones, and just really helping them to narrow down their finances, looking at their books, trying to see how they can save money, making sure that everything is accountable. And so we love just working with those, especially this is an absolutely crazy time of year, where we're trying to get narrowed down for year end and 1099 season, but loving every minute of it. So that's a little bit about me.
All right. Delisa, your turn. Tell us a little bit about you and your business.
Yeah, I'm a local real estate professional here in the Rockwall area. I've lived out here, and I actually live in Fate, so I've lived here for almost 17 years, specializing in the Rockwall area. I have an adult daughter, a grown daughter, 27 years old. I was a former educator, and I just really love, and I think that's part of the reason why I love real estate, because I can continue to educate people, either in the home buying or the home selling process. And I really think that was kind of my calling. So yeah, I'm your local real estate agent here in Rockwall County.
All right. Well, we are glad to have both of you on today, being a part of the show. We really appreciate your commitment and your passion to bringing the community of Rockwall the information that, we all will enjoy hearing and what's going on, and some amazing people. We want to make sure that our residents in Rockwall understand that, as we were talking about before, shopping local, hiring local, buying local, it's easier to do that if you know who's in town that's actually doing what you need. And so we're trying to make people aware of that. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in our guests now, and then I'm going to let Delisa, we'll let you go first this time, and you can introduce your guest, and then Rynae, you can introduce yours.
All right.
So my guest is Ron Farici. He is the owner inspector for A-Pro Home Inspections. He is a local home inspector, so he does the general home inspections. And I'll tell you right now, we came out of that crazy market where a lot of people weren't getting home inspections. Never a good idea. Ron has helped so many of my clients avoid huge mistakes, because it's the expert coming in and taking a look at everything. So Ron is here local in the Rockwall area, and they also do a networking group for realtors on the first Thursday of every month. So if you're a local realtor, come and join us at Rockwall 5. So that's Ron.
All right, Ron, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know we're going to get into that a little bit deeper in our second segment coming up in about 6 minutes, but let everybody know who you are right now and a little bit about A-Pro.
Well, Delisa stole all my thunder. I don't have anything else to say other than that. No, so seriously. So yes, my name's Ron Farici. I own A-Pro Home Inspection Services right here in Rockwall. I have been in Rockwall for over 20 years now, and been the home inspector based here in Rockwall for 17 now. So going on a minute. So I'm sure everybody knows what a home inspector is, but if you're buying a house or selling a house, things like that, what we do is we come in and we pretty much go through the house, top to bottom, inside and out, operating all the systems and make sure they work. And then we tell people what's going on, and it helps them with their make their buying decision, their what they need to repair decision, what they might want to have fixed decision. So, it's a great job helping out people on usually one of the happiest points of their life. It is a frustrating process, but buying a house is always fun. Or owning a new home is always fun. I won't say buying it is fun, but generally they're happy, and that's there's a lot of educating that goes on with it too. So I love to do that kind of thing.
All right. Okay, Rynae, your turn. Let's. I want you to introduce Eva now, and tell us a little bit about her, and then Eva, we're going to let you talk about yourself and your business.
Yeah, so I have been so excited about having Dr. Eva Mackey on with us. I've been getting to know her over the last several months, and she is just an incredible lady. She owns Rockwall's Gym MD. She is a physician, doctor. I'm not sure which the right terminology to use there. So Gym MD is a direct medical care clinic in Rockwall. They're designed to get patients better quality care and control some of the cost. They take patients that have insurance or not insurance, but I will let her expand on all of that.
Thank you for that introduction, Rynae. And I'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about me. So I am Dr. Eva Mackey. I'm a board certified family physician, and I am owner of Rockwall's Gym MD. It's a direct primary clinic here in Rockwall. I've been practicing medicine in the Rockwall area for about 20 years now, and I was working for a large corporate clinic, and I left that clinic 7 years ago to create my own clinic, Rockwall's Gym MD. It's direct primary care. It's a lot different than a traditional clinic. So it's a concierge model. So that means there's a monthly membership fee. We're all about getting you better service for a more affordable price. So you don't get charged for, patients don't get charged for office visits. Patients don't need insurance to come see us. We can do the majority of what patients need for a very affordable price. So it's dedicated to getting people better quality care for a fraction of the cost.
I love that. Definitely going to be asking you a lot more questions about that. I'm sure our audience is going to want to know more as well. We are going to, I think I'm going to go ahead and go to break now. When we come back, we're going to start with our What's Up Rockwall segment. And then once we go through that, I want to get back to some questions for Ron and Dr. Mackey. But everybody stick around. We're going to hit a break and we'll come right back.
The Community Difference is a new series of shows powered by the Difference Radio live stream and podcast network. This series of shows was designed to highlight the unsung heroes that call our towns and communities home. And we wanted to create a platform that brings awareness to and reminds folks of the goodness that lives within so many of us. By working with the local community leaders, business owners, first responders, veterans, schools, and citizens who want to unite with a clear and selfless purpose, the Community Difference seeks to spotlight the people, events, and activities that are producing positive outcomes, inspirational stories, and incredible experiences. In a world that is consumed with negative press, media manipulation, and propaganda, The Difference, along with many others who believe and support The Difference, understands there is no better way to make the difference than to highlight the unsung heroes that call our towns and communities home. We are currently searching for local communities to be the focus of our shows, but before we can launch a show in your community, we need your help. We need you along with local business leaders, chambers of commerces, major nonprofits, online community group leaders, networking groups, etc., to join us in making the difference in helping your community be seen, be heard, and be remembered. So, if you would like to know how you, your business, school, social media community, church, or your favorite nonprofit organization can be a part of this unique and powerful program, reach out to us today and introduce yourself and let us know how you would like to contribute and bring awareness to the amazing people, places, and events that are making the difference in the community you love. You can call us at 972-866-4596 or email us at info@thedifferenceradio.com.
And now, back to the show.
All right, we're back. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around. And excited to have Dr. Mackey on today, and Ron. Ron's going to talk a little bit about home inspection, and we're going to dig a little deeper into what Dr. Mackey was sharing with us about their unique approach to healthcare. But before we do, we're going to go into our
What's up, Rockwall?
segment, and I'm going to let Delisa and Rynae take that part over. So, ladies, y'all go ahead and tell everybody what's going on in Rockwall.
Absolutely. There's a couple of cool things going on. Of course, through the Rockwall Chamber of Commerce, we still have Skate the Lake. If you have not been down to the harbor to see that, you really need to go. It's open between now to January 2nd. They start at 4 o'clock during the weekdays, noon on the weekends, and tickets are $15. It's really cool. Now, I'm not going to get on the ice because last time I did that did not work out so well, but it was really cool to watch. Saturday at Shenanigans, they have breakfast with Santa.
Oh,
So
nice.
if you still haven't gotten your pictures with Santa Claus yet, still have an opportunity to do that. And then, of course, this is something that's near and dear to my heart is adoption event. So Petco is doing an adoption event here at the Rockwall location on Saturday from 1 to 5. So adopt. Rynae?
There you go.
I don't know of any additional items to bring up. So is the ice skating, does it get really busy down there?
It can. Now, I went on a Monday evening and there was maybe 20 people out on the rink. But what's good is they give you time slots. So there's only a certain number of tickets that they will sell for the time slot to make sure that there's not too many people on the rink.
Yeah, yeah.
And how cool is that, skating on the rink while you're right there by the water in the harbor?
Yeah.
It really is neat.
Well, you know how much I love water, at least the lake. So I need to go
Right.
down there. Maybe I just need to do that. So yeah, so does Ron or Dr. Eva, do y'all have any know of any events coming up you want to share about, or okay.
No, yeah, I wish I did.
All right.
It's the time of
All
year when
right,
people
well,
are looking for things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
very much so.
It is.
And
Well, I think this weekend is going to be just a lot about being together with family and so forth. So I think some of the activities have kind of settled down a little bit.
well, and with Christmas
Right.
being on Monday, I know I'm looking forward to it because then I can actually go down a little bit before on Saturday and still get some time off with my family. So that I think we're going to see a lot of that this weekend.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate that. Giving us a little bit of update of what's going on in Rockwall. Now I want to get back to our guest. Again, we really appreciate y'all being on the show today, but I want to start ladies first. Dr. Mackey. So what inspired you to set up your practice in a way where there's a monthly fee rather than the challenges of insurance and everything else that a lot of us struggle with? I mean, you know, it's a scary. I mean, what's really cool about our guests today is we have two different people from two different career paths that both deal with sometimes terrifying situations. Buying a house, not knowing what you're getting into. Sometimes that's where Ron can come in and help. Dr. Mackey, insurance is just mind-boggling. And knowing how to navigate those waters, it's just almost, you have to be either college educated or it's a second job for you. It sounds like you've simplified the process and created something that we all don't have to avoid healthcare now.
Absolutely. You're so right. Yes. I worked in corporate medicine I call it a big box clinic. I probably can't say exactly where I worked, but I did that for 15 years and it was so frustrating. I mean, you didn't get very much time with your patients. You know, you only had 5 minutes with the patients. They were rushed in and out. They couldn't get appointments. They didn't have enough time to get their needs addressed. It was as frustrating for me as it was for the patients. And I was unhappy with it for a long time. And it took me many years of consideration before I figured out what to do. And I really figured out that there was three big bad players in primary care that I needed to get rid of if I wanted to be the best family physician that I could. And that was large corporate organizations in medicine. Need to get rid of them. It needs to go back to just the small, independently owned, physician-owned clinics. Also, the insurance and Medicare; those things were corrupting primary care. I needed to get rid of them. And so I discovered that there was a small group of physicians who were like-minded, and they were pioneering something they called direct primary care. And it's a concierge model, which means instead of paying for each visit, you're paying a membership fee. And what that does is it opens up the relationship. So if I'm only getting paid for an office visit, then anytime you call or email me with any problem, my motivation is going to be to schedule an office visit because that's what I'm getting paid for. With the membership model, I tell people I'm your doctor all the time, not just when you're in my office. So that means that our relationship is more fluid. It doesn't just consist of appointments. It also consists of email contact, text messages, telemedicine visits. I was doing telemedicine before COVID, before it was cool. And so it's a fluid, natural relationship, and it's not confined to these little 5-minute time slots. So, and then when you eliminate the third-party payers, you eliminate about 90% of the bureaucracy and the overhead expense. Because most of what you're paying for when you go to a traditional doctor's office is really the bureaucracy. It's not the physician. It's not the nurses and doctors taking care of you. It's all the bureaucracy that supports everything that's going on. So I just cut out 90% of the overhead costs, which means that brings the cost down for you, the patient. And so when you come to my clinic as to see me, and when I'm your primary care doctor, you don't pay for many things apart from just your membership fee. So you're not going to pay for office visits. And a lot of the tests that I do in the house are included. So in-house tests like strep test, flu test, urinalysis, EKG, no additional charge. When you opt out of Medicare and insurance, you can also bring your lab prices way down. And I give those to people for wholesale rates. So, if I was opted into Medicare, the lowest price I could use for my labs would be the lowest allowable Medicare price. But the difference is so my lipid panels, I've negotiated down to $5. If I were enrolled in Medicare, then I would have to go for the lowest allowable Medicare rate, which is probably somewhere more like $70. I'm not sure exactly what it is right now, but it's something like that.
Wow.
So $70 as opposed to $5. And so it just makes a lot of sense. And, when you file your insurance for something, it jacks up the price of what you need. So, so that the prices become artificially inflated because of the insurance. And then half the time your insurance, or more than half the time, your insurance rejects the fee anyways. And so you end up paying all of that inflated price out of pocket. So it just makes it so it creates price transparency because there's no more guesswork involved in what the price is going to be. It's just the price is what I set it, and that's it. That's the bottom line. And it brings the prices way down, and it frees up my time and my mental energy just to be able to take care of patients.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Who do you find your primary patients? Are there, I would assume that maybe small business owners that don't have access to corporate health care and things like that.
Yeah.
Is that really kind of who you look at, or who is your primary
So I can
client?
I can help all kinds of people, and I really appeal to a wide demographic. Definitely the small business owners are important because, right, they don't have the large corporate health insurance. So obviously, that's just a no-brainer. But I have a lot of underserved people, a lot of low-income people, because my prices are so affordable that this is affordable for them. On the other hand, I also have a lot of incredibly wealthy patients who have great insurance, but they would also prefer to come to me just because they want that concierge quality of care that I provide for them. So I actually appeal to a really wide demographic, but I do love the small businesses. And actually, as an alternative to insurance, so a business more than 50 employees has to carry some kind of commercial insurance, but less than that, they don't. A lot of times they want to offer their employees some kind of health benefit. and they can offer their employees a membership in my practice, which gets a tremendous amount of value for their employees at just a fraction of the cost of traditional health insurance.
So what is the
That's
membership?
amazing.
How is that
All right, so-
determined? Oh, I'm sorry.
So how much does it cost?
No,
Well,
go
not how
ahead.
much does it cost, but how is it determined? Like,
Okay,
is it per
well, it's-
family or per individual?
It's tiered based on age.
Okay.
So it's so it's more expensive for people over 45. Kids are only $35 a month. Young adults are $65, and older adults are $95. And then if for businesses enrolling 3 or more employees, there's a discount. And for
Okay.
families of 3 or more, there's a 10% discount.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. That's really cool.
So,
Delisa, you have any questions?
yeah, I do. I mean, this is very intriguing to me because you're right about the inflated costs. So like if I were to just get sick
Mm-hmm.
and I need to come in and see a doctor, would I be able to come in and see you for a one-time visit, or would I need to be a member in order to schedule the appointments? That would be the first
So you
thing.
have to be a member. We don't do one-time appointments because that really corrupts the model. That turns it back into fee for service, which
Okay.
then puts the pressure back on me to cram as many people into a day as possible. So in order to preserve the quality, we really have to stick to the membership. So it's a membership thing, and we intend to take care of you long term and to take care of not just your acute illness. We can certainly do that, but also just take care of all your medical needs.
Mm-hmm. So when someone has to go to a specialist?
Well, so it really depends on the situation. So there's a lot of different things that can happen. So for one thing, I don't need to refer quite as much. I refer a lot less than other primary care doctors, and that's because I do have more time to spend with you and more time to research things. When you go to a traditional primary care doctor, a lot of times they're referring you because they honestly, although they could deal with something, they really just don't have the time. And so they're like, okay, I'll deal with this one issue myself, and I'm going to refer you out for the rest because I got to move on to my next patient. So because we have this ongoing relationship, that's why I don't do the one-time visit, because sometimes it takes more than one visit. You know what I'm saying? And I need to be able to devote that kind of time. So I don't refer as much, but sometimes you have to refer. I do use an online service called Rubicon MD. My patients don't pay for that. I do. But I can submit cases to a specialist online and do a virtual consult. And then I can just follow the specialist's instructions as to, what kind of tests I need to order and what kind of medicines to prescribe. And so that's like a virtual consult. And then also, because I've been here in Rockwall so long, I know a lot of specialists in the area. If somebody really does need to just go see a specialist, I've got a list of people who can see you for an affordable cash pay price. Now, of course, if you have insurance, we can still use your insurance for that referral if that works better for you. It kind of depends on each individual situation.
Yeah, and I was surprised because when I was looking at your information online, I just, as someone who was not familiar with this, would have assumed that the services would have been less, but I was looking at your list of services and it's quite comprehensive. Oh,
I do a lot. As a primary care doctor, we do a lot, usually more than most people think we do. Quite a bit.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to take another quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to get Ron in here and talk a little bit about inspections and what he does to protect the home buyer. And so I want everybody to stick around. This has been some great information. We're going to get back into, as I said, with Ron and then also with Dr. Mackey again. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The Community Difference Rockwall is brought to you in part by Alan Lester, loan officer with the One Group with Town Square Mortgage. Delisa Lapinsky with Lapinsky Realty Group. Frank McLeod with Minuteman Press. Kane Pierce, Vice President and Commercial Banker for B1 Bank. Charles Barnaby with Barnaby Heating and Air. Rynae Calder with Sunray Bookkeeping Services. And Josh Small with WeatherTech General Contracting. If you, or someone you know would like to sponsor, or be a co-host sponsor of this show, or other shows like it, please give us a call at 972-866-4596 or email us at info@thedifferenceradio.com. And now, back to the show.
All right, we're back. Thanks everybody for sticking around. Want to say thanks to all of our sponsors and co-hosts and all of the advertisers that make these type of shows possible. If you're a small business owner, local in Rockwall, and you want to be seen, be heard, and be remembered, reach out to us. We can help you achieve that. We average about, between our platforms, we're on 35 different podcasting platforms. We're on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, and getting ready to go. LinkedIn has just allowed us now the opportunity to go live there as well. So we'll be doing that. So over the last 4 years, we've averaged about 4 million viewers. So if you're local, you want more people in Rockwall to know who you are, or you want to support this show and the people that come on it, give us a call. We'd love to have you. So now I want to bring on Ron. Ron, I was in the real estate business many years ago, actually before the crash of 08 in mortgage, and never understood why somebody would want to waive their right for an inspection. You're about to make the biggest purchase in your life, going through one of the most stressful times you could ever go through, and you tell me you don't want an inspection. What are they missing out on if they don't get an inspection?
Well, that's a crazy experience when you hear people say that they don't want to have one. But yeah, we've heard it before. Some people think they're smarter. They don't need it. They can walk around in that 20 minutes and look at the house and say, "Oh, it's fine. We don't need to have all that done." But yeah, so when we come in to do the inspection, of course, we're educated, we're licensed, we're insured, all that stuff that the state requires that we do. But we're able to operate all the systems in the house in one kind of condensed time frame. Of course, get on the roof and look at things that you can't see from the ground, and getting into attic spaces where again, you can't always see. We're trained to look for those things. Plus, with all the experience from doing it for so long, we see something that just looked kind of minor in glancing or in passing. We may have seen a bunch of times and know that it is a sign of a bigger problem. So not doing a home inspection when you're buying a house, like you said, the biggest purchase of your life, you're leaving yourself open to some serious problems that could pop up on move-in day.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a nightmare story of what you've seen happen before.
So this is kind of one of those things that I always bring up to people when they say, "Oh, I don't think I need a home inspection," or "Why would I do it?" So, I go in and I run, we run water right through all the fixtures in the house, sinks, tubs, toilets, all that kind of stuff. I've been in a house, doing the upstairs, inspecting the upstairs of the house, running the upstairs plumbing, come downstairs and water is bubbling out of the floor of the shower in the primary bathroom. That's one of the things you would not want to find out on move-in day, right? You move in, you're hot, you're sweaty, you want to take a nice long shower or whatever it is, and you flood the house. So that would be a pretty big deal to have to happen on first day.
Well, and we had a situation like that with one of my buyers over in Wiley, and it looked like it was just an innocent little wet spot on the side of the house. But Ron picked up that was not so small. It would have been about a $15,000 repair had we not caught that, and had they not had an inspection. Because to me, to the buyers, it looked like no big deal, but it really was. It really was.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Thanks for pointing that out. I should use that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and these are first-time home buyers. They had no clue. I mean, I'm not an inspector. I certainly, through my experience, am able to point out some things or look at some things, but you really have the experience for that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like you said, you walk past, because that was a pretty, just simple little deal. You walked right past it and you think, oh, okay, no big deal. But I've seen that before. So you kind of know where that's coming from. So sure. Yeah. Experience goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you've seen some really interesting things in your line of work. What's some of the more interesting or funny things that you found?
I guess if you want to call it the craziest thing or the scariest thing, so some older homes have crawl spaces, right? So you got to crawl underneath them. That's where things like to hide. This one particular house, it was kind of out near a lake, and crawling underneath the house, and the underside of the floor had insulation on it, and they had it held up with chicken wire. And we're crawling around down there, and you could see that snakes had crawled up and gotten stuck in the chicken wire, and they died being hung from the chicken wire. So when you're crawling around underneath there, it was like snake skins just hanging from the ceiling above you. Yeah, it was great. So that was kind of. I was under there with my termite inspector, and so we kind of hightailed it out of there. Not knowing or hoping that all the ones that were down there were dead. But another thing that's just kind of amazing about it is that, I mean, you're in every part of people's house when you do a home inspection. So you see everything, how they live. And sometimes it's kind of funny, like, what are they thinking? But yeah, so I kind of said at the beginning, it's a fun job. It really is a fun job. I mean, it's a serious job, but there's a lot of fun to be had when you're doing it. So when you come out of a crawl space that has snake skins hanging from the ceiling, you can laugh about it then.
No, thank you. So I was in real estate for 14 years before I switched over to started my business. And so I always remember, you're talking with sellers and trying to get their house ready, and they're like, our house is perfect. They're not going to find anything. And then we get the inspection, and it's like a whole long list. So do you get a lot of that with, upset sellers and?
Yeah, and what's crazy about it is I'll go in and I'll do the house, and then I hear kind of either directly from them, but generally it's through the buyer's agent. The seller was not happy with you, and then a week later, I get a phone call from that seller saying, "Hey, I saw what you did to my house. I want you to go in and inspect the house I'm buying." So yeah, it's kind of a compliment if you think of it that way. But yeah, a lot of people, they live in their house, and generally things don't happen immediately, right? It's kind of a slow progression. Take as like an example of things that the factors that we see when we find a house that has foundation movement. Those little things, they creep up over time, and you don't realize that, honestly. You just walk down the hall every day, and it looks the same because it's not an immediate problem. So I hear a lot of people who think they take care of their house, or they actually do take good care of their house. But when we come in to do it, it's kind of a very small snapshot in time where we're looking at everything from like a third set of eyes, so to speak. And it exposes things, or they don't really think about what that is from or what caused that. And they go, oh my gosh, my house does have problems. But most of the time people take good care of their stuff, and it's all pretty good, but you're always going to find some things.
Well, and that's the thing too. And Ron's always been really good at explaining this, especially to new buyers or first-time home buyers. Just because it's on the report doesn't mean that it's a huge problem. Some of it may just be really small things, or something that wasn't required when the house was built, but is required now. So just because you have the inspection, there's a lot of things on it, doesn't necessarily mean that it's all bad. It's actually good, because now you've got information and what you need to do to continue to maintain your home.
Yeah, right. It's you don't walk in and just arbitrarily inspect things. Home inspectors in Texas are licensed by the state. We have to inspect to a certain level, right? They put together the standards that we follow. So when we go in there, it's not just whatever we feel that day. It's a process that we follow, and there are some things in it that are for your information, right? They want to make sure that you're aware of. Sure, you're not going to take a 30-year-old home and bring it up to today's code standards. You don't have to do that here. So that, but the state wants us to let you know that this, if this house were built today, it would be built to this particular standard. And hey, you don't have to fix it, but we want you to be aware of it, and that's what they're going for. And a lot of times people think that the inspection is scary. They're like, if you're a seller, you're afraid that it's going to happen, or they're going to, a bunch of problems are going to come up. But honestly, it doesn't matter what I say in the report. You don't have to fix any of it, right? It's all down to what you choose. Are there big things? Obviously, you would want to address some big things, but most of the time, I'm sure Delisa, that it's not that bad, unless it's that bad. So,
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, having that inspection can mean the difference between walking in on the first day with your keys and having a flooded house or not. Yeah. Absolutely.
Has it changed much over, like, say, 5 years ago?
Well, it's the inspection process itself hasn't changed so much. There's always little tweaks here and there that they throw at us, but you know how it goes. It's a period of time will be a buyer's market, then another period of time will be a seller's market, and we're going through. You go through that cyclical business all the time, right? So you're always fighting that. Is it going to be really, really busy because the interest rates were super, super low, and then like we've been experienced for the past 9 months or so, where people are a little bit leery when they and not buying like they were. So that's really how it's changed. Is the most extreme has been over the past 9 months or so. So
how often typically do you see changes in like what the requirements are or the inspection codes? Are those changed frequently, or?
Yeah, so the people that kind of tell us that govern us, right? They meet every year. Down in Austin, it's just a group of those folks. They get together and they take input from other inspectors, and they kind of say, hey, maybe these are things we'd like to address in the home inspection, or make sure that the buyer is aware of. And then there's other things that are suggested to them, and they say, nah, that's not that big of a deal. We don't need to worry about that. But yeah, so they have the opportunity to change it on us every year. But it's usually every 3 or so years they'll have some changes to the report form, or kind of a deal that gets added in that we weren't commenting on or weren't inspecting, but now they feel that we should. So they do change it on us from time to time just to keep us on our toes. And it also keeps you guys on your toes too, right? Because you have to understand, what the new requirements are and how to explain that to your clients and things like that. So yeah.
I bet it changes a lot in Dr. Eva's role as well. You're always having to stay on top of all the the different changes.
Right. Yeah. Well, especially with COVID, during the COVID pandemic, it was changing every few weeks, really. Mm-hmm. And I did a series of Facebook Live during the COVID pandemic, and just to update people about all the changes that were happening, Mm-hmm. But I mean, even without a pandemic, things change all the time. And also I'm always researching and trying to find new resources for my patients to get get the care they need at an affordable price. So yeah, I mean, always just researching new things.
Yeah. Well, say that's the Delisa. I think Lendon's having some technical issues.
difficulties.
We can kind of go into some of our other questions if you want.
Yeah. So, and that's actually what I was going to kind of roll into. So, right now, obviously, we're all small businesses. Where do we see the future of our local businesses going in our rapidly changing economy? I mean, what are some of the things that are impacting you guys?
Go ahead, Doc.
Well, so, I am impacted by people changing employment, changing their insurance status, insurance rates being higher, insurance covering fewer things, more people being open to looking at different ways to get their medical coverage. Those things affect me really in a positive way, because more people are now trying to think outside the box about how to get the medical care they need outside of the traditional insurance model. And I feel like more people are going to are self-employed and not working for the large corporations, which means they need an alternative. So I see that continuing. And for me, that's definitely a good thing. I want to encourage people to think outside the box and try to think of new ways to get the medical care they need.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because I think particularly right now, it is imperative for us to start building strong community ties.
Mm-hmm.
Where local businesses, small businesses can differentiate themselves. I mean, you are differentiating yourself by the types of services that you're providing, so how do we differentiate ourselves when there's a lot of inspectors in Rockwall? Ron, what are some of the things that we do?
Well, I think of it as kind of I think it's by the relationships that you have, right? I mean, you're going to get referred. In my case, most of what I do is a referral. I'm referred from, real estate agents like you, Delisa, and even past clients. They tell their families or family members, hey, that you're buying a house, use this guy because he was great. It's going to be, I think, just keeping the relationships up, right, with whomever, whether it's staying in contact with agents or previous clients, things like that. Even with the economy slowing down and then speeding up and things like that, real estate is people are always going to be doing a little bit, right? They're always going to be selling some houses or buying some houses, right? So I think that always is going to happen. So you just got to stay in there, and I know that's hard for all of us to stay visible.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I think is just keeping the relationships up, because word of mouth goes a long, long way.
Community relationships and
yes.
Giving back to your community, serving your community. Rynae, how about you? What do you think?
Well, I work with so many different, and my clients are in so many different industries, and so I think it affects them, and I see it affecting them in different ways, and when I'm looking at my clients and just how their business is going and some of the changes that are happening that they can't really control, we got to look for ways to be able to say, okay, well, what's the plan? How are we going to tackle some of these issues and so forth? But even like our e-commerce and our retail, some of these stores, so many things are going digital, and so then you got to learn about, okay, well, how can I change to be able to get to my audience, in a different way? Well, I got to learn, more about digital marketing and digital selling, and I think that's a big play in some of our clients, or how are you going to not just e-commerce or retail, but any kind of marketing when they're trying to build clients or get patients and so forth. But I think too it starts with having a plan, where I guess business plans and financial stuff is coming to the forefront of my mind just because it's the beginning of the year almost. And, I think having a plan and preparing for these different changes that are going to, that could possibly, change the state of your business over the next year or so is something that needs to be done within each company.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because I think you've got to recognize the shifts that are happening. Because I think there are a lot of people that don't. I mean, Dr. Mackey, you were seeing the shifts, you were seeing things that needed to change and you responded to it. Same thing with Ron. I mean, you guys are seeing different changes and responding to it in a timely manner, because if you're not aware of what's going on in the community, in your profession, you're going to be left behind. And I mean, I think that's what we're seeing in real estate is a lot of people weren't shifting or didn't realize things were shifting and they were in a world of hurt.
Yeah.
World of hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What about with the, just the cost of living and just inflation, I think has made such an impact on businesses, and hiring employees because they need to be paid more, just to keep up with the cost of inflation and living. And yet some businesses aren't able to keep up. I think that's been a problem too, is just being able to maintain employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's sad because who does it impact? It impacts the small business owner. It's not, not normally. The big corporations or the big companies, it's the small business owners when they're struggling with employees or finding people to work or finding people that want to work.
Right.
It impacts them. It impacts them the most. Ron, have you seen because of the economy, a shift with what people, because I know when you do an inspection, you get your general home inspection. A lot of times you have termite inspection. So depending on what you're at, are you seeing where people are not wanting to pay for those services simply because of the economy and that additional expense?
Well, it hasn't, that hasn't come up for me as much. From time to time, I'll have people who will say, hey, we're going to pass on the termite inspection just concentrate on the house. But again, I think it comes down to being able to explain how this is important, that they need this information, and they kind of get it and understand that we need to go all the way, basically. So thankfully I don't have people saying that they want to knock services off just so that they can get into the house.
Yeah. I would think too, with Dr. Eva, when you have patients who are, when you have patients who have insurance and they're trying to get, doctor care, and then they know they're going to have a high premium or high deductible that they're going to have to go and pay, that's a big difference with having your services, because I would think that they would be more comfortable, coming in and having those health concerns talked about when you have just a blanket, or not a blanket, but a membership, and not worrying about all those deductibles.
Yeah, it definitely helps. So it creates price transparency, which I think is huge, because one thing that keeps people away from the doctor's office is the fear of getting hit with huge bills. And the thing is, when you go to a traditional doctor's office, they can't even tell you up front what the bills are going to be. You just get this bill for $500, later on, and nobody even tells you up front. So that is huge. So price transparency and containing those costs is something really important that we do. And especially in the changing economy and budgets are tight, I think that it's a really important thing.
Yeah.
Well, and I know a lot of people, even though they have insurance through their companies, and I'm not even talking small businesses, like myself or, Ron, But a lot of people opt not to even go with their company's insurance because they're having to pay $400, $500, $600 a month for the coverage, and they can't afford that.
Mm-hmm.
On every month, and then you have the high deductibles on top of that. So
Right.
it's a more affordable alternative to where you are still able to get seen by a doctor and you still have coverage with the doctor.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Insurance, I mean, it's just a racket. You pay a huge amount of money. I mean, people paying $1,000 and more a month for their insurance premiums. And then the services they need are even more expensive because they have insurance. I'm able to get cash pay MRIs now for $250, whereas with insurance, that same MRI might be $2,000. And if you've got a $10,000 deductible, you're paying all of the $2,000 out of pocket, not to mention you were already paying $1,000 a month for your insurance. I mean, it's just a racket. It's just ridiculous. And so I can help. I can help. I promise you I can help. I know what I'm doing, and I know how to work the system to get you the services you need at a discounted rate. Just let me work for you and do that for you.
Awesome.
All right. I think we're going to a break now, huh, Lendon?
Now we're going to get ready to, we're going to let y'all talk a little bit about your business right now and get ready to close out. We've probably got about 10 minutes left. Okay. And I want everybody to, I know we've talked about the business, but I want you to share with what kind of client are you looking for? What kind of client can you help, and how can they get in touch with you?
Who gets to go first?
Well, since you're the odd man out, we'll let you go first, Ron.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna
okay. So honestly, anyone who is buying or selling a home is a client, can be a client of mine. Hey, and don't forget, new construction homes still need home inspections. Do not rely on the builder for that. Anyway, okay, yeah. So carrying on. I can do an inspection for anyone who's buying or selling. But I like to work and like I said earlier, create relationships with real estate agents because they are the ones who, if I have someone who's calling me just off the internet, is one thing. But if their agent says, "Hey, I worked with Ron a bunch. He's great," they're a little bit more at ease. Things are easy. It's easier to talk to them. That kind of stuff. So, I like I said, I can do an inspection for anyone, but really, the people that I want to work with is other real estate agents. And so I know my number's rolling across the bottom of the screen there, or it was. You can use that to get a hold of me, or my website.
I think you cut out there, Ron, just at the very end with your website.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the website is aprodallas.com.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Eva.
Okay, so I am there's a broad range of people who could benefit from my services, I think. So it's a no-brainer for people who are uninsured or underinsured. I also love small businesses who are looking for a way to get some medical coverage for themselves and their employees. That would be, I'm a great option for that. Or even if you have great insurance and you're just sick of the runaround at the traditional doctor's office and you're looking for better quality care, definitely come see me. I can help you out. So the way to get in contact with me, so you can check out my website. It's rockwallsgymmd.com. You can check me out on Facebook. Look for Jim MD on Facebook, and you can call me at 972-961-4171, or you can also email me at dreva@rockwallsgymmd.com. That's dr.eva@rockwallsgymmd.com.
Awesome. Lisa, you want to go?
Sure. So if if you're a home buyer, home seller, then we need to talk. I love working with our first responders, our veteran community, and obviously our educators. But if you're looking to buy or sell here in the Rockwall community, I'd love to have a conversation with you. The other thing too, you can find me on my Facebook page, which would be Delisa Lapinsky Realty Group, or even my personal page, Delisa Dickinson Lapinsky. And follow us there because we're going to be doing some really cool things starting in 2024. I'm going to be partnering with the Rockwall Adoption Center. So we're going to be featuring a pet of the week to help promote adoptions. Like I said, that's kind of a special soft place in my heart. But I'm also going to be featuring local small businesses of the month. So if you've got a small business that you would like for us to spotlight and showcase, reach out to me either through my phone number, 214-329-3461, shoot me an email, or hit me up on Facebook, because I'd love to start showcasing your local small businesses and all of our little pets that need adoption. That's going to be a fun part of my job.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. So I'll go. I'm the last one. So with me, I guess our clients that we're kind of looking for are really just any not home buyer. Sorry about that. Any small business. No, not in real estate now. Any small business in the area. So we are, it's coming up with the end of year, and one thing that we're really working on is trying to tidy up everybody's, financials, because we close everything out by the end of January. So it's ready for their CPA. So anybody who has not even started with trying to pull anything together, they have receipts thrown in a box, if they have just have no idea what their profit even is, each month, we would love to be able to help with that. We also have some free resources. If you pay any contractors over that $600, you got to give them a 1099, but there's a lot of exceptions to that. And we have some free resources on, on a decision board. How do you decide, you need to give that person a 1099, or maybe you don't even want to do it. We can file this for you. But, tax deduction list. If you need a business plan, an empty, business plan, we can provide one of those. So really just any type of resource to help you grow your business. And then again, we offer monthly bookkeeping and payroll, sales tax, just about anything, related to bookkeeping. So you can reach me. Our website is sunrae, sunraebk.com, or my phone number is listed, 214-437-0466, or you can email me. Love to hear from you.
Awesome. Well, Delisa and Rynae, I hope that I've got a little bit of connection right now, and thank y'all for filling in. You get paid extra for hosting today. Yay. So I want to thank Ron and Dr. Mackey for being here, sharing so much information. That's really good. That's kind of what we're all about, is letting people know within our community, who the people are that they need to know. So I want to tell everybody, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for bearing with me with my technical difficulties. That doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes it does. And we will see everybody next week, same time, Wednesdays at 2:30.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Merry Christmas.
Thank you for watching today's show. The Community Difference Rockwall is brought to you in part by Alan Lester, loan officer with the One Group with Town Square Mortgage, Delisa Lapinsky with Lapinsky Realty Group, Frank McLeod with Minuteman Press, Kane Pierce, Vice President and Commercial Banker for B1 Bank, Tamra Kollick with Speak, Charles Barnaby with Barnaby Heating and Air, Rynae Calder with Sunrae Bookkeeping Services, and Josh Small with WeatherTech General Contracting. If you, or someone you know would like to sponsor, or be a co-host sponsor of this show, or other shows like it, please give us a call at 972-866-4596 or email us at info@thedifferenceradio.com.